Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. We are covering college bowls right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Right now we're going to take a look at the Alamo Bowl, the Valero Alamo Bowl, Kansas State and UCLA. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Loshak.
All right, Joe Duffy, 27 years as a professional handicapper. Tell us a little bit how you've managed to stay successful, stay afloat, stay in business for all these years.
The secret is really the secret in just about any industry. I just work my tail off. I'm not happy with being second best. Been doing this since the scorephone days, and I roll with the changes. Look, the handicapping dynamics have changed over the years. I've been ahead of the curve again, finally back to being hot as we file this report as well, OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right, that sounds great, Joe. Well, the Valero Alamo Bowl, Valero Energy Corporation, Fortune 500 company, natural gas, no green energy, fuck that shit, right, Joe Duffy? All about natural gas, oil, petrochemicals, right?
You absolutely got it. Let's do that offshore drilling, baby.
Kansas State and UCLA is the matchup in the Alamo Bowl. Right now, UCLA is a 1.5 or 2-point favorite. The total's also kind of all over the place. 59, 59.5, and 60 are all widely available. And, you know, UCLA had an interesting year, right? For most of the year, they were a terrible bet. 1-7 against spread over their first 8 games. Then they covered their next 3 in a row. And then in their last game, though, they got absolutely manhandled as a 6-point favorite by Stanford. And Kansas State, as they often are, were, again, a great bet on the year. They lost their first 2 games against the spread, but then they went 8-1 against spread over their next 9 games. And then their last game was very excusable. They lost by 11 as a 7-point underdog on the road against Baylor. So, you know, Kansas State, their usual self, good bet, undervalued on the year. My sense on this game is that it's going to be high scoring. I think you got to take a shot with the over at 59. You know, UCLA, of course, has a dual threat quarterback, and that has given Kansas State problems this year. And UCLA also looks a little bit vulnerable on defense, and Kansas State, of course, has in their own right, one of the better quarterbacks in college football this year. So I don't know what I think on the side quite yet. I guess I'd lean UCLA, but definitely my pick would be on the over if I had to give one. Do you agree with that, Joe Duffy?
I would agree, but my play on this is going to be UCLA for some of the reasons that you stated. And by the way, offshore drilling, I was talking about drilling the offshore bookmakers. I didn't know that we were talking about oil. Okay. But no, anyway, Kansas State, they do have the slightly shorter trip. Both of these teams are traveling. It's probably, of all the bowls, might be with it, the combined, the 2 teams are traveling the most. But Kansas State, by about 500 miles, does have a shorter trip. Now, that would usually benefit them, and that's something in their favor. Now, I have said that there are a lot of myths going about bowl betting. One of the bowl myths is where people say, go with the team with the better road record. That isn't true, except when the margin is this wide. I ran it through the computer software. When you have a team that has a winning percentage of 400, of at least 400 or better on the road, and remember, UCLA was perfect on the road this year compared to the 600 record by by Kansas State. In that case, the road team actually is superior, not by a humongous margin, but still 76-63. But UCLA, part of their struggles was Brett Hundley. He seemed to be trying to impress the NFL scouts. Even at the beginning of the year, Jim Moore Jr. said, hey, he can be a pocket quarterback. Don't really, pigeonhole him as an athletic quarterback. And he tried to prove that. Then he kind of went back to what he did best. Now, the real question that I'm going to be looking at before I finalize the play is to see if there's any tea leaves. Is Hundley going to look at this as kind of an audition to impress the NFL scouts? Or is he going to go out and try to win this game where he's going to use all of his skills, and that would be the multi-threat quarterback? But Hundley had returned to being a multi-threat quarterback using all of his own personal skills, and right now I think that's what he is going to do. And the fact that in this case UCLA has done very well from home, and both of these teams are traveling a distance. So unlike a lot of bowl games where people assume it's a road game for both teams, it's really not, because both of these teams are going to be traveling a distance. I think this is actually a game where the road records apply a little bit more than they do in most games. So I'm going to be going with UCLA.
All right, UCLA -1 is currently widely available. That's what I was thinking as well. And also, as good as Kansas State has been against spread in the regular season in recent years, they actually haven't been a good bet in bowl games, and they have some issues in the secondary with injuries. So I'm agreeing with you on UCLA, and also I think the over 59 might be a good play. What do you think about that, Joe?
I would probably lean towards the over. I'll have to look at the total a little bit further, but my official play, as you would say, would definitely be on UCLA.
All right, UCLA -1. Thanks, Joe.
The SBR network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.